Hello artist! I thought it would be fun to do a monthly favorites, so I want to show you a few of the things that I'm crushing on currently. If you're new here, hi, welcome. My name is Irit. I'm an intuitive, color-led artist based in Austria and Europe, and on my channel I share my artsy adventures. Also, I want to say that I have a new course now. It's called the Rainbow Method, and it is currently on sale for an introductory price of $97, which is a bargain because it is jam-packed with artsy goodness. And in March, it's going to go up to its full price, which is $147, which is still a bargain, but I want everyone who wants this course to be able to get it. So if you're interested, check out all the details below and take advantage of the introductory price. The goal here is, to give you kind of recommendations about products, but also I know a lot of you really enjoy my color choices, and so it is sometimes really hard to find kind of that perfect shade of pink. So I'm here to help you with that and just highlight some of the shades that I really enjoy playing with, and all of the things that I talk about come in open stock, so you don't need to buy any sets to get them. Okay, so Caran Neocolor wax pastels. I talk about these all the time. The Neocolor 2 are water soluble, the Neocolor 1 are water resistant. The Neocolor 2, I would say this is one of these unicorn products that I think everyone loves, and for good reason, because they are amazing. Especially if you want to paint or sketch with pastels, but you hate the mess of soft pastels or oil pastels, this is the pastel for you. It is mess-free, but still very pigmented and creamy, especially the Neocolor 2. I find they are a little bit creamier than the Neocolor 1. Also, these come in a lot more colors. So I use them all the time. I currently have them in this drawer, which is a new addition to my studio, and you can see how I set it up. And it is working okay for me right now. I used to have these in a smaller box, so they would take up a little less real estate on my desk. And I have to say, I don't think that was a bad solution, but this is really a much more organized way to keep them. So I think for now, I'll stick with it, but I wanted to mention them. Now, let me zoom in on some of the colors that I want to show you. So during the month of February, I have been painting predominantly with acrylics, and I want to highlight some of the colors because I do color mixing. I mix colors. It is definitely a very important skill, and I don't have my favorite colors always ready from a tube. But I also really enjoy just like applying color, and sometimes it's annoying to have to spend time mixing colors. So a lot of the colors that I will show you, you can mix them by yourself, but I choose not to. So that I can paint instead of mixing colors. This is a great example. This is royal blue. These are flash paints, and if you haven't tried these, they're my favorite paint, hands down. They're sometimes tricky to find. I can only order mine online. They come in jars and tubes. I use both. I have to say the tubes are probably a bit more user-friendly, easier to use, but this is also kind of nice. And I do sometimes when I'm painting just with one color, it's easy to just, dip your brush in the jar. So think what works for you. This color, royal blue, I absolutely love it, and I use a lot of it. It's just ultramarine with white, so you can definitely mix your own, but this is such a convenience color for me, and I think it's just so pretty. I love it as it is, and I use it a lot, so I wanted to share that with you. Then let's talk about Holbein. Holbein, they have a few things going for them. They have great colors, especially their luminous colors. So these are acrylic paints. Oh, there's a cat here, of course. And I love these three. I love them so much. This one I just finished a tube, so thankfully I had one lying around. This is Luminous Red, and I love, love, love this color. I'll try to show you how it looks because it's fluorescent. I think you can kind of get the idea, but this is also beautiful when you mix it with white. You get like these different shades of luminous corals that you just can't get without those fluorescent colors. Now, of course, these are considered fugitive, but I don't know how they will respond in time. I can tell you that I did my own light fast testing on Holbein's watercolor, which is called Bright Rose, which is like one of my ride or die pinks, together with the Da Vinci, what's it called? I want to say opium, but it's not opium. They have a really, really fantastic pink, which is now in competition with Holbein's Bright Rose. Oh, I have a cat in the yard. The Da Vinci pink is called Opus, and it's amazing. But the Holbein Bright Rose, anyway, I did my own light fast testing, and after months and months in the sun, it barely changed color. So I feel confident using the Holbein formulas, and I am willing to accept that it might fade in time, but for now I can enjoy them, and I choose to do that. So they have a few more luminous colors. For example, there's also this one, Luminous Yellow. I occasionally use it, but not as much as I use these three, and I absolutely love them, and they just add this brightness that you can't get without these kinds of colors. However, a lot of this is not a super unique color. A lot of brands make it. I have also a couple of other similar colors to this, so you definitely don't need the Holbein brand for this color. It's usually called fluorescent red, something along those lines. But these two, I find them to be quite unique, because most other brands will have kind of a fluorescent pink that looks like this. And these are darker and deeper, and they're just lovely. I can't find a dupe or replacement for these. Luminous Rose, that's my all-time favorite, but Luminous Violet is also a winner for me. So use these all the time, love them, and yeah, together with the Fluo Pink from Flash, these are like my go-to pinks. Love, love, love them. So speaking of Holbein, they also have, the nice thing about Holbein is that you can usually find the same colors or very similar colors in all of their products. So in acrylic, in watercolor, in oil, in Acryla gouache, in pencils, and I absolutely love that. And these are their Duo Aqua Oil, so these are oil paints, and again, this is Luminous Violet, and this is Luminous Opera. I don't know if they have a Luminous Rose in oils. I don't think they have, because probably I would have bought it. But again, I love these, and nothing, especially with oils, I haven't seen a lot of like fluorescent luminous colors, so these are a must for me, because bright pinks are just one of the things that I love to use and use in almost all my paintings, and I can't really use other pinks. So to make again my point with the same color in different mediums, Ice Green, again, is one of their fantastic colors. You can see, this is a color you can mix by yourself, probably with a type of like a Viridian green and white. You will get this kind of minty color, but I love it, and it's such a nice color to have. And of course in pencils, you can't really mix them. So this is Ice Green in pencil form, and I love it, and I use it all the time. You can see I should probably get a new one. And then this is Ice Green in their Acryla Gouache, which is acrylic paint with a matte finish. I like the Holbein Acrylic Gouache. My favorite is the Flash for the formula, the Flash paints, but Holbein has this color range, which is amazing. So I have a couple of their colors. And then this is again oil paint, Ice Green. They probably have this color also in acrylic, and maybe I should buy it. because it's just a really, really pretty shade. So I wanted to talk about Holbein and highlight some of these colors. I know a lot of you have purchased Bright Rose and other of these like luminous colors based on my recommendations and loved it. So I'm really happy for it. Let's talk more about oil. I have been painting a little bit with oils. With oil, the problem is I can't really just like go into it because it takes them weeks to dry. So you need a place to put them. And I don't have like so much space, but I love these. And these are Charvin. This is a French brand. They also have acrylic paints, and some of these colors you can find in their acrylic range. For example, this is acrylic paint. So you can find a lot of the colors that they have in oils, you can find them in acrylics. There's not as much. I think their oil extra fine range is their widest, and there to me in oils what Daniel Smith is in watercolor. Like nobody comes close with their color range to Charvin. So if you like the colors that I'm showing you, check to see if they exist in acrylic, and you don't paint with oils, of course. So this, for example, is one of my favorite colors. It's called Ava's Pink, and you can see it's kind of like a purpley pink, and it is just lovely. I have to say, I don't necessarily use this a lot in acrylics because I can get similar shades when I mix the luminous violet with white, and they are still just a little bit brighter. So yeah, that's why I'm like so addicted to the Holbein colors. Ava's Pink, gorgeous color. Now this one I have to replenish. This is called Golden Shell, and it's just like a very, very light cream. It's just such a nice convenience color to have, because otherwise I would have to create it from white and just a little bit of yellow. And white on its own can be a bit cold, but this one is just so lovely and so warm. I actually have something very similar in Acryla Gouache. Okay, 1,000,000 years later. This is such a lovely color, and it is very similar to this. Sadly, I ran out of it. You can see this is from Turner. It's another Japanese brand, and their color range is quite similar to Holbein's. And they also have these Acryla Gouache paints, which are acrylic paints with a matte finish. These are not traditional gouache. They are permanent once dry. And this is called Pastel Enamel, and it's, again, just like this very, very pale yellow, and I absolutely love it, and I really need to buy another one, I'm afraid. Just because this is a kind of an annoying color to mix, and I don't have anything like this in acrylic. I really enjoy it. Okay, another great color that I discovered thanks to Wendy Brightbill. She has on her online school a free course called 100 Days of Imperfect Practice, I think it's called. And I signed up for it. I'm really bad with all these kinds of challenges, but I do paint daily, so I think I might be able to do that. Anyway, she has the most magnificent color sense. She discovered this color for me. It's called Incarnate, and it is just like this light peachy color. Again, you can learn to mix this, but it's so easy to have these colors already ready to go. So let's talk a little bit about pinks. I mentioned the Ava pink, and then you can see there are a range of like these colors. They're all like they're all very similar, but I love these types of shades, and you do have to mix them, and it's really nice to just be able to use them. So Ava's Pink I mentioned, this is called Cyclamen? No idea, but this is just like a tad more purpley. And then we have Lilac. These two are very, very similar. So you could probably skip this one. And then Amethyst Parma and Bluish Parma. Now next to these they look blue, but if I show you how they look next to a blue, you will see how like purpley they are. Right? So this is ultramarine. So I just love all these shades. Of course you don't need them, and you can, I'll tell you the pigments. This one is these are PR 122, like these three. And then this one is PV 23. So it's just like, Usually they just have different amounts of white added to them. But I love, love, love these shades, so I really enjoy having this variety. And I wanted also to mention these tools. I use these all the time. I can't completely paint a painting with them because I don't necessarily like the edges that they create, but because you don't have to wash them and I use a lot of color in my artwork, they're very convenient for me to use in those earlier stages of applying color to a canvas or a piece of paper or whatever I'm working on, because I don't have to like constantly wash them, and they're just very, very user-friendly. So if things like, you know, washing brushes or mess keeps you from painting, really look for tools that will help you get to the painting part and not discourage you. And for me, this is one such tool. This is my favorite size, the 1.5 inch. These are from my kind of local, like one of the online stores that I buy from. That's the name. I think they are in Germany and Austria, but you can find similar products by many brands. So any major art store would have something similar. So I love, love, love these. And then this one is my favorite palette knife at the moment to use with oils. This is the Liquitex Freestyle, but again, it doesn't have to be Liquitex. I just find this shape and size to be very friendly to paint on a kind of smaller scale. This is the small knife number 17. I highly recommend, if you want to play with a palette knife, either for mixing or applying color, don't use plastic. There's just something about it. It's just not the same experience. These are not crazy expensive. Yes, they're more expensive than plastic, but they will last you a lifetime. You don't have to be super particular with them. You know, again, like this, you don't have to wash them. You just like wipe them. This can help you, like such tools can just help you make more art if you don't like, you know, mess and washing brushes all the time. So I wanted to mention that. Another color that kind of made a comeback to my life is this indigo. I love this indigo. Not all indigos are created equal. So it really depends on like the specific brand, but the kinds of indigo that I like are quite similar to Indanthrone blue. So this kind of like deep inky blue that is not muted, like very, very deep and alive, but still dark. So the Lucas makes beautiful indigo in acrylics. And if you want this kind of shade in watercolors, then Schminke is the place to go with their indigo. But just in watercolors, because I've tried their gouache and it's nothing like this. So it's sometimes a bit harder to find. This one has actually a mixture of pigments. It has phthalo blue, some purple in it, PV23, and some black, but it is just like dark and deep, but still very, I feel like very lively, and that's why I really like it. So Lucas Indigo. I think that is it. I'll just show you on my canvas right now that I have here the colors so you can see how they look. A lot of the colors that I mentioned here. So I want to show you how they look in reality, like in practice. Okay, so this is the canvas, and here at the top, this is the luminous red. This is how it looks, and then everywhere around it, it's different amounts of white. Then here we have the fluorescent pink. This is the luminous rose, and then this is the luminous violet. So hopefully you can see how they look. I think the camera they are deeper in real life than they appear on screen. I think just there's a little bit more brightness in the camera, but in real life they are even deeper. This is ultramarine blue, my favorite blue, and this here is indigo. So I think you can see it's very dark, but it's still very, very lively. And then this is the royal blue that I mentioned, and then I also like to add more white to it and play with those shades. And then here, this is this pastel enamel that I showed you that I'm out of. I just really like it, and I feel like in this kind of landscape, it looks it fits it more than white, which is what I usually use. Like, I like to use white on my paintings, but here I felt white would be a bit too cold and stark. So this was actually a great choice, but now I'm out of it. I can try and mix something similar. I might do that, but it was just really nice to have it straight from the tube. You can see it's like this really, really buttery yellow, and it's just, I feel like it just complements all of the colors in this painting. So that's that. And with ice green, I actually, yeah, this I think is ice green. It looks a little bit bluer than it does on the tube, but yeah, it's just this beautiful kind of minty color. And then this one is also a color that I like. I showed you the jar briefly, and I'll show it again. It's kind of a unique color. You can mix this, but I like to have convenience color. This is called Veronese Green Hue from Flash. And again, I like to add white to it, and then you get even more like minty colors, but this is how it is straight from the jar or tube. So that is it. Thanks for watching.